Consumers increasingly want the leanest and most tender cuts like steak and roast. That's why farmers are paid more for carcasses with lots of meat. But the grading system that determines how fleshy or fat their cattle are has always been contentious, since it has relied on the subjective judgment of officials from the Department of Agriculture. However, this flashpoint is a thing of the past, now that Ireland has become the first country in Europe to install mechanical graders, high-tech machines costing over €100,000 each that are programmed to determine how much a farmer's cattle are really worth.
Grading is very much a description of the carcass, and it's an EU carcass classification scheme, and the grading was carried out visual grading by the department up to recently, and it was in the form of conformation, which is really shape of animal and fatness. So you got two grades. And why it's important is because it describes the animal, and the prices that animals fetch on the market is dependent on the grade. There was probably a perception, because it was visual grading, it wouldn't be consistent, and that a mechanical grading procedure, while it would give exactly the same grade, would be more consistent.
So Don, you've installed a mechanical grader here in this meat plant here. How long ago was that?
The machine was installed 4 weeks ago, and with any new piece of equipment it would have taken a period of time to bed it in. So it's fully operational here now for 2 weeks. It takes a picture of the carcass and it compares 15 different points on the carcass with a database that's stored within the machine. The grading machine is not a meat quality issue. It won't tell you how good the steak will be to eat. It is purely a grading of the muscle conformation and the fat levels of the carcass.
Tipperary farmer Rory Dunn has selected 9 of his Hereford cross cattle to go to the factory in Nina today, where they'll be graded by the mechanical grader. This will be Rory's first experience of the new machine, and he's understandably apprehensive.
I'm a bit nervous, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, well, it's a machine. It's very cold and calculating, I suppose. I don't know.
But is that not better than a man? Because, you know, they could always say, well, a human is fallible as such.
Oh, yeah, possibly, yeah. But I don't know. It should be good. It should be good. It's going to be across the board. Every animal is going to be measured the same, like. Whereas you said the variation would tend to be with different graders, like, you know.
How much would it be worth to you now, say, if all your animals graded with, say, middle of the road, ors, or if they all graded used?
It could be, with one load of cattle, it could be 250, 300 euro on just one day. Like. I'd be hoping for at least maybe 1 or 2 ewes, and the rest would be ours. Like,
1 or 2 ewes. Now that's the second highest grade, so they're going up at the upper end there.
Yeah.
Rory is pitting his expertise and his hopes against the mechanical grader, and we followed the cattle to the factory in Nina to see how he fared. In the current grading system, the carcasses with the most meat are graded E, followed by U, R, O, and the lowest value carcasses grading P. The carcasses are also graded according to fat class from 1 to 5. But mechanical graders are able to give new levels of accuracy, allowing the meat factories to increase the price difference between what they pay for good, average and poor quality cattle. This will increase the incentive for farmers to produce better quality cattle. But how would the grader rate the quality of Rory's cattle? He was looking for at least 1 U grade.
We've seen the best of them go through now at this stage.
Yeah, I think it's going to be mostly ours. That's it. Yeah.
You got away without getting an O there.
Yeah,
Other was touch and go now about going down another grade, eh?
Yeah, because when you go down to O, you're losing a lot of money. Like.
That one that just went by there was one of the ones we were hopeful was going to make a U.
Yeah. That machine is very intimidating, I think. It's the future, isn't it? We're going to have to
get used to it.
Yeah, and
improve
on our breeding of cattle.
many of the machines needed some tweaking during the last month to get them bedded in. This led many farmers to question just who was allowed access to the inner workings of mechanical graders.
The grading machine can only be adjusted by the manufacturers. The manufacturers are the only people who have access to the grading machine.
And you can't request the manufacturers to come in, now just turn that down a little bit, it's thrown out too many high grades there for us.
Well, the Department of Agriculture are the people who are charged with monitoring the machine, and they are in all plants on a weekly basis. So they are the people who are responsible for the workings of the machine.
Rory, you're emerging with the loot.
Yes, at least, yeah, we get paid on the day here, so it's
Not so
it's
bad.
one good point. I mean.
What about the grades? Were they a good point?
Well, I suppose I was probably a bit disappointed. There could have been one U in it, but well, we're all R's in it, which is the important thing, that there was no O's on it, like, so.
Yeah.
And I suppose it's what's in the carcass is what you're going to get paid for, like, so.
Can't get away with rubbish anymore.
No, definitely not. It's tougher times.